Escaping debt. A journey to financial freedom. John was one phone call away from losing everything. On a rainy afternoon, a bank officer warned that if he missed one more mortgage payment, he could lose his home. In that instant, John's world came crashing down. Meet John, a 35-year-old husband and father. On the surface, he had a comfortable life, a decent job, a modest house, a loving family. But beneath that facade lay a financial time bomb. For years, John had been overspending without a plan, swiping credit cards on things he couldn't truly afford. He avoided budgeting entirely. He had never learned how to manage money. In John's mind, as long as he paid the minimum on his cards, everything was fine. He figured everyone had debt, so why worry? He had no idea that this mindset was setting him up for disaster. John's descent into debt didn't happen overnight. Debt crept in slowly. Over time, life threw him some curveballs, an expensive car repair, a hospital bill for his daughter, and with no emergency savings, he had to put those on credit. All those choices added up. Debt collectors started calling and past due notices filled his mailbox. John began losing sleep, worrying about money every night. One evening, Emily opened a credit card statement and discovered $32,000 of debt that John had been hiding. "How could you hide this from me?" she cried, trembling with anger and hurt. John was speechless. His financial infidelity had broken her trust completely. They argued late into the night. Emily felt betrayed, and John was consumed with guilt. Their financial crisis was now out in the open, and they had to face it together. John barely slept that night, haunted by every money mistake he'd made. The weight of the debt and the thought of losing his family's trust felt crushing. He had truly hit rock bottom. The next morning, John found Emily at the kitchen table, eyes red from tears, a stack of bills in front of her. Seeing the fear on his wife's face hurt more than any angry words. He realized this debt wasn't just numbers on a page. It was hurting the people he loved most. In that moment, John made a promise to himself. This has to change. There was no magic solution or quick fix. He would have to rebuild their finances and their trust, step by step, with hard work and real discipline. For the first time, John swallowed his pride and sat down with Emily to make a plan. It was hard to face the mess he'd created, but he knew he needed her support. They spread out every bill and statement on the table and took an honest look at the total. It was overwhelming to see the mountain of debt, but this was the first step in their financial recovery. They knew there were no shortcuts to financial freedom, only concrete steps and accountability. Together, John and Emily crafted a realistic plan to escape debt together. Here's the plan they put into action. They listed all their debts, credit cards, loans, overdue bills, in one place to get a clear picture of how much they truly owed. It was painful to confront, but necessary. Next, they created a strict budget for essential living expenses and cut out all non-essentials. Subscriptions, restaurant meals, and shopping sprees were all slashed. Every saved dollar was redirected toward debt payments. To prevent further overspending, John literally cut up his credit cards, keeping just one for true emergencies. This removed the temptation to dig the hole any deeper. They looked for ways to earn more. John picked up freelance gigs on weekends, and Emily sold unused items online. It wasn't a huge windfall, but even small side jobs gave them extra money to pay down debt faster and a sense of control. They set up weekly money check-ins to track progress and keep each other accountable. John also worked on changing his money mindset. He began to see saving and budgeting not as a punishment, but as the path to security. With a clear goal of financial freedom in mind, he stayed patient and disciplined. Adjusting to this frugal lifestyle was challenging at first. Gone were the takeout dinners and impulse buys. Instead, John and Emily found creative, low-cost ways to enjoy life. Home-cooked meals, movie nights in, walks in the park. John stayed disciplined. He brewed his own coffee and packed his lunch instead of eating out. Whenever he felt tempted by an expensive outing or the latest gadget, he reminded himself of his promise and his goal of a debt-free life. Every small sacrifice brought them one step closer to freedom. Their hard work started paying off. In about 6 months, they paid off their first credit card. With each debt they knocked out, their confidence grew. At the 1-year mark, an unexpected $1,500 car repair nearly threw them off track. But now they handled it differently. They adjusted their budget, tapped into their tiny emergency fund, and got the car fixed with no new debt. It was a stressful test, but they got through it and proved that their new mindset and discipline could weather tough times. Fast forward 2 years. John opens a credit card statement showing a zero balance. They've paid off all $32,000 of credit card debt. There are still a mortgage and a small student loan to go, but the crushing weight of consumer debt is gone. John and Emily hug, relieved and proud to have escaped the debt trap together. Life now feels different. John still drives his old car and sticks to the monthly budget without fail, but he sleeps soundly knowing he controls his money, not the other way around. Honesty and teamwork have restored the trust in his marriage. To John, true financial freedom isn't about having tons of money to spend. It's about security, peace of mind, and the freedom to make choices without fear. John's journey out of debt offers some practical lessons for anyone seeking financial freedom. Be honest and seek support. Don't hide your debt. Being open about money problems with loved ones builds trust and accountability. Face the numbers and budget. List all your debts and create a realistic budget that prioritizes needs and trims wants. Cut expenses and avoid overspending. Live below your means by cutting unnecessary expenses. It might be tough, but those sacrifices are necessary to end overspending and start saving. Find ways to earn extra income. Earn extra income if you can. Even small side gigs can help pay down debt faster and boost your confidence. Change your mindset and stay disciplined. Change your money mindset to focus on long-term goals instead of instant gratification. Stay patient and disciplined. There's no quick fix, but a debt-free life is worth it. John's story shows that escaping debt and rebuilding your financial life is difficult, but possible. The road might be long and require real sacrifice, but each step forward is a victory. If you're struggling with debt, remember you're not alone, and you have the power to change your story. It starts with that first brave step toward financial freedom.